After a number of opposition members of parliament received alerts on their iPhones of possible state sponsored hacks, a full blown political battle has erupted between the opposition and the government. I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo story. The day started with a number of prominent members of parliament, almost all of them, I think, from the opposition, taking to social media to say that they had received alerts from Apple on their iPhones, a warning of a possible attempted state sponsored hack or attempted surveillance. This phrase, state sponsored, is a language that has been used by Apple, not either by the parliamentarians or by us. There were others too who complained of the same alert, senior journalists among them, as well as the head of the Observer Research Foundation, Sameer Saran. The government has reacted by saying that a probe has been ordered, but has called the opposition the allegation and pointing fingers at the government for somehow being responsible for this, a case of being compulsive critics. They've also said that the language used by Apple in these alerts is vague. That's what the IT minister has said. And these are alerts that have gone out in 150 countries. So what's exactly going on? Let's talk to one of the members of parliament who's in fact flagged the issue in a letter to the Prime Minister. Priyanka Chaturvedi, member of parliament from the Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray group, joins us now. Priyanka, welcome to the program. You are, of course, one of several prominent public figures who received this alert. When did you get it and what did you make of it when you first received it? So there's a tendency when we get alerts like this to first think of it as sort of a spam message. What did you think when you first got the message?
So, yes, the same thing happened with me too. I got it late at night around quarter to 12. And it said it's coming from apple.com and threats notification, which says it's a state sponsored attempt. And also warned us that it happens to those who do what they do and they are where they are. So that kind of alerted me. And before I put it out there on Twitter late night, I checked with cyber experts whether this was a genuine ID where this was coming from. Only once I received the confirmation, I put it out there because with a sense of alarm and also to alert the Home Ministry that in there is some, international state which is, interfering in our processes, they can have a look. But early morning when I opened Twitter, I saw many of opposition MPs having got this. So the question that arises is, A, who are these state actors? And who are the ones who are they attacking? They're attacking the members of the opposition. Who would want to attack the members of opposition? The ones who have a lot of answers to give to the members of the opposition. So that is why I've written to the Prime Minister, to the Home Minister.
Explain that connection. You started by initially looking at the language state-sponsored attack, thinking that it could be a foreign state. It could, in fact, Apple's own. If you go to Apple's website and they explain this, they usually use this language in reference to foreign spies. But by the morning, when you saw many of your colleagues had received similar alerts, you changed your mind, and the opposition is now blaming the government. Rahul Gandhi has even issued a sort of statement at his press conference saying, "Jitna tap karna hai kar lo," pretty much frontally accusing the government or those close to it. What is the evidence that all of you have that the government has any hand in this?
No, two things here. There was no doubt in my head that being a vocal opponent, that when I saw the message 2 days ago, late last night, and I have been getting these attempts where many people have told me that I should be careful, especially after Pegasus, that you are taking on the government head on and it could lead to consequences, slightly in an underhanded way, etc. So the first alarm bell that rang was if the Home Ministry or somebody out there is attempting it, then it's something that I'm aware of and it shouldn't be attempted. But in the morning when I woke up to see just so many of us getting it, it became pretty clear who the state actors are. Who has the kind of funds that Apple is insinuating? It says they are people with deep pockets who have entire state support and are very technologically advanced to attack in a manner which you wouldn't even know. And who can do that? And let's say, for instance, let's say, okay, we don't attack our government. We think that it's some international state agencies which are doing that. So it doesn't that also become the responsibility of our central government to ensure our data is safe and secure, especially those who are in opposition? Who will be answerable to the people of this country? And if I have to submit my phone, who do I submit it to? Apple says my phone is being surveilled by the state agencies. So should I hand it over to them? Hello, please check if you all will give yourselves a clean sheet. So that is where the problems arise. That those and if you look at the names that have come up, those who have got this message, are those who are vocal opponents, whether inside the parliament, outside the parliament, as spokespersons of political parties which are in opposition.
But can I ask you to respond to the IT minister? Those are some of the names and faces on your screen who have received a similar alert. And indeed, the four that you see on the screen, including yourself, are critics. But there are also other names. Samir Saran, you have sort of collaborated with him on projects in the past. He's with the Observer Research Foundation. He's not seen to be a critic. There are journalists based out of South India, southern states, who are professionals, but are not necessarily seen to be critics. Do you necessarily see a pattern? And is the pattern because you don't see a BJP member of parliament here?
No, listen, you are letting them off the hook because of one of two or four names that are coming up, as compared to the names of so many opposition members that have come up. And how is it that those who are in the government, none of them have received this notification? So I don't even need to join the dots. I don't think people also have a question in their mind. It is a known, we have seen enough investigation reports on Pegasus and investigation reports coming from, and every nation where Pegasus was reported coming from, every nation took action except for India. India had some judgment given by the Supreme Court, and we still don't know what report was submitted to the Supreme Court. So just dismissing it as, oh, opposition is attacking, oh, because of Samir Saran got it, and Samir Saran doesn't usually vocally criticize the government. So it is a false alarm, then I beg to differ here. We have been facing the consequences, whether through agencies being undermined, or through arrests, or through, raids that happen every day, and now this.
I want you to respond to two statements that have come from two, where Priyanka is probably reconnecting there, but there were two different statements that there's Priyanka back. Two different statements, Priyanka, that have come from two different BJP leaders. One is the IT minister, Ashwini Vaishnav. Uh, uh, Ashwini Vaishnav went on record to call all of you compulsive critics, but he said an inquiry has been ordered. He also referenced the fact that Apple's own language was what he called vague. I'm quoting him, and that a similar advisory had been issued in 150 countries. The government is also quoting some Apple statement. Nobody's very clear right now when this statement was issued, talking about how some are false alarms, sometimes the attacks go undetected. I'm sure you've seen these reports as well. How do you respond to A, what Mr. Vaishnav has said, and B, the quoting of the Apple statement that is being widely quoted and referenced in the media at this moment? Priyanka.
So two things I'd like to say here. So the IT minister can continue making any accusations as he wants, but the responsibility lies with him. The buck stops with him and the Home Ministry as to how our data stands to be compromised. And Apple has very clearly said it is a state-sponsored attack. So which are the state agencies? That would be their responsibility to answer, not mine, not mine to give. I've only reported something that has come, and I feel my phone is compromised and my data is compromised. And it's the duty as the IT minister and for me as a citizen of India to expect the basic fundamental rights given to me are not denied to me. Now, very clearly, the statement that they're reading out and which came out in the media that Apple has issued a statement, I've only got to know now that it is a statement of 22nd September. There is no statement issued by Apple, and that 22nd September statement is being used by the IT minister to clarify their stance. And even in that 150 countries, they are saying that they cover the length and breadth of 150 countries to inform those countries where they feel that such attack is happening. It nowhere says that they've sent it at one go to all these 150 countries. So A, 22nd September statement. B, 150 countries thing that I've just explained to you. Third, about the statement being vague. Apple, in its own statement to us, which is a long statement, which is telling us do's and don'ts. It's even giving us a hotline number to reach out to in case we see a massive compromise of data. It very clearly says that, state-sponsored attackers are very well-funded and sophisticated, and their attacks are constantly evolving, due to which their statement is vague and they will not be able to divulge more information of what they found, because the state actors which are working at the behest of state agencies will be alerted to what has been found. And they'll only get more sophisticated. They'll only try to bypass the system. That is why it is vague. You cannot do away with the fact that members of parliament have got this. And there's a serious breach of, compromise here. And there's something that needs to be investigated thoroughly.
Now, Ravi Shankar Prasad, another BJP leader, he held a press conference, and when he was responding to these comments, and by the way, this the Apple statement was 22nd August, Priyanka. I
Oh,
just wanted to look that up, and not even 22nd September. We do not yet know whether a new formal statement has been issued today, but it's certainly circulating in the media. But my question to you was, Ravi Shankar Prasad said that the opposition should cooperate. Rahul Gandhi in the past has refused to hand over his phone. Now, you made a similar point that you believe your phone is compromised. You believe somebody affiliated to government is responsible for that. So you will not hand over your phone. In that case, what do you expect the government to do? You've written to the topmost sort of, the heads of government, What do you want the government to do at this point?
I want the government to tell us how come such data breaches happen. And how is it that Apple is sending out this alert with this confidence that it's a really sophisticated attack being attempted by state agencies? So I'm not making this up. I'm not saying that, this is my government. It is Apple which is alerting me to this high-end surveillance technique that has come across, that they've come across and they're alerting us about, and that their vector has identified. So they cannot justify it with a 22nd August statement. And again, I repeat, when Apple is telling me, the phone manufacturer is telling me it is by a state agency, how can I hand over my phone to a state agency for them to give themselves a clean chip? There has to be a very free and fair investigation, and they have to bring in some tech experts, because today it is our data, tomorrow it could be anyone else's data. And this attempt to silence people and this fear that they instill that, oh, we know what you're doing at any given point in time, I think goes against the very ethics of how democracy functions. Either you say we are a surveillance nation, we are a dictatorial nation, and only one man will speak his mind out. The others have to fall in line, which I'm sorry, I've not been born to do that. I was born in a free, independent, democratic, and constitutional country, and I will continue to strive for it.
What are you all planning to do? Is there going to be a joint opposition response to this?
Yes, absolutely. So we had Mr. Gandhi do a press conference on this, and he also listed the names of the people in the opposition who have reported this kind of a message that has come from Apple. Of course, we'd expect some kind of a statement coming from Apple, telling the government of India why they have gone and alerted so many Indian citizens. Then we have the question from the government of India as to why is it that only opposition leaders have got this alert while none from the government have got it, or none from the Bharatiya Janata Party seems to have reported it, except for one or two odd names that you gave who are absolutely not even connected to politics. The rest
Yeah.
haven't come forward. So why is it such a targeted attack at the opposition? And let's say even the international state agency, international states making a play in our democracy, isn't that a threat to our, a nation and nation security and nation's data? So I mean, it is for the government to answer all these questions, not for us
Are,
to
are,
prove ourselves.
Other government officials on background have told media an Apple algorithm could have malfunctioned. And then they hark back to the earlier Apple statement. What do you say to that?
So, two things. One is Mr. Amit Malviya also said something like, "Oh, it's a non-issue," and without even us telling the country as to why it's a non-issue, that opposition leaders are reporting it. Apple is sending that message, a very serious message, and you continue to say it's a frivolous issue where data has been compromised. Second, with regards to malware functioning or dysfunctioning and government sources coming up with all these excuses, then I'm sorry, either Apple is also working in cahoots with the opposition, that it has selectively malfunctioned where opposition is concerned and functioned absolutely beautifully and in sync where the Bharatiya Janata Party and their allies are concerned. So that in itself is the will give you the entire story as to who's doing it, who's behind it, and he can continue to ignore it. He can continue to mock it. The truth is for the people to see today. Every single citizen of this country fears making a normal call. They're using various other apps, data calls to speak to people. Why is that fear instilled in every single citizen's mind? And I'm telling you, this should be the underlying message for 2024 elections for India and the India Alliance partners, that India will be able to breathe easy. India will be able to make normal calls through MTNL, BSNL. Maybe MTNL and BSNL will become profitable again. Make them great again by not doubting our agencies and not having them spying on every discussion that we have, every normal call you take. In fact, ever since I've got to know about this, before I take a call, I greet Mr. Amit Shah. I wish him good morning, sir. Now, can I take this call? Would you want to listen into what I'm speaking to my husband? Would you want to see what I'm telling my children? What food to eat? What time to head to college? So Mr. Amit Shah is very well, the Home Ministry or whoever is listening into a conversation, please listen to our conversations. But we will continue fighting our fight.
Finally, you've said a lot about the government. At this point, what would you expect from Apple? It's a tech giant. It is the brand, in a way, probably the biggest brand in technology in the world today. What would you expect from Apple at this point?
Firstly, I must say Apple has done its due diligence and reached out to its users and reassured us that Apple, as a phone, is a safer phone. That it alerts us, it alarms us, it cautions us that in case they find a breach. But what I would expect from Apple to do is to unequivocally come forward and issue a statement saying that yes, we have sent out these alerts to some people in India, because we've seen this coming in through a report and our regular checks that there could have been a breach. And that would actually put to rest a lot of statements which came from the IT minister, which is coming from the IT head of Bharatiya Janata Party, and a lot of these BJP troll gang, which is going on, mocking this entire, statement that we've got from Apple. It would be nice if they come forward and clarify as to how they managed to arrive at this these messages and identifying those whose data could have been breached.
And for yourself, does this change how you communicate?
No, but the only change would be that 10 seconds before I take a call, I will greet Amit Shah ji and the Home Ministry officials and the agencies that they're most welcome to listen to my conversations. But I will continue having these conversations because my rights have been defined by my constitution, but not by those who are in positions of power.
Priyanka Chaturvedi, thank you for talking to us. There's a major row erupts, the opposition accusing the government of using technology to surveil key members of critics of the government. Thank you so much, Priyanka. That was Priyanka Chaturvedi there. This debate will carry on and we will have more on it on the platform later today. Thank you for watching. See you soon. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.